Jerome Powell came out and told us at the most recent FOMC meeting that, quote, we should be prepared to be surprised by the next chapter in the economy. And people by now should know that you clearly called out what was going on with the insolvency of commercial real estate developer Evergrande and many other companies around the world. What are your thoughts on the current ongoings with real estate developments and insurance companies and how they could affect our global economy and financial markets in the future?
Yeah, that's not a surprise. We are in the fourth phase of the global financial meltdown. As you know, it started with the breakdown and illiquidity of Evergrande. Recently, this chapter closed after Evergrande was ordered to liquidate. But it started in September 21 when me and my team, we proved that Evergrande has defaulted, even though the press was reporting that Evergrande was still paying the coupons. Yeah. So
Is it funny the
so
way
this
mainstream media always lies to us?
is correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, what do you think is coming next with these real estate developers and these insurance companies?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are in the fourth phase of a global financial meltdown. And this is a phase of a credit crunch. Uh, um, and the real estate developers worldwide have a crisis. So also here in Europe, especially in Austria and Germany, huge real estate developers, the Signa Group went bankrupt and has impact on the balance sheets of insurance companies and also banks. And the same in the US, we has a lot of problems with commercial real estate. And you will see this results in the annual reports 23, which are now published within the next days. You see these problems, and they have to write down these losses and cannot postpone until held to maturity. You see a lot of impact on the results of these banks and insurance companies worldwide.
Yeah, Cigna Holdings had over 1,000 different companies and around $30 billion, if I recall, worth of assets and liabilities. And it even impacted Swiss bank Julius Baer with some incredible losses. So, do you think that's something we're going to start seeing to trickle out into the rest of the global banks?
Yes, so Julius Baer wanted to clear everything forefront, and they announced that they have these problems and have written it down. A lot of other banks, like Deutsche or insurance companies, they still have these problems in the balance sheets, and in the next days we will see some more uh, of these problems to coming out to
So
to see to the public.
it's
Yeah.
not over
But
for the bank's financial
yeah,
runs.
but there had been the HSBC Bank in the UK and in Hong Kong. They have published their results a week ago, and they have now not written down the commercial real estate sector as they should have done. They have avoided a lot of write downs. They have written down some bank assets and had impacted it by the result by around 5 billion, but they they have not written down their real estate portfolio, their commercial real estate portfolio to the full extent. So
Wow.
what and they there will be still some surprises with HSBC in the future, also with exposure to mainland China. And as you see, with the Evergrande liquidation, is almost no chance to recover assets in mainland China. And HSBC is a main lender in commercial real estate and also corporate business in China, and has no chance to recover any of these loans if a company goes into liquidation.
So that could potentially be one of the reasons why Jerome Powell is telling us to prepare for some unexpected surprises in the economy.
Yes, this is, for example, from China. In China, you cannot recover these assets, and in the US, the commercial real estate problem is bigger than expected. Yeah, and the increase of interest rates and the hidden losses are still there. So it's combining both problems. Yeah, and so liquidity is an issue. So there will be the fourth phase of global financial meltdown is a credit crunch, liquidity crisis.
So HSBC has only written down about 5 billion worth of their real estate losses. Is that right?
No, this was only a bank, a Chinese bank. They have written down. They have written more,
Oh
but
wow.
they I think they have around 30 billion, which are non-investment grade, and they should have written down this 30 billion, and then the profit would have been gone. Yeah, so, but they it, you will see in the next year
So
these banks will have negative results.
it sounds like what you're saying, that if they would have written down all of their losses, it would have more severely impacted their profits already.
Of course, they are, for example, HSBC still showing profits, even though, yeah, you know that they have issues in China, and they cannot recover these loans to corporate real estate to real estate developers. Is almost all bigger ones in China are in liquidation. So they should have taken the step which Julius Baer has taken to clear it out,
Mm-hmm.
but they wanted to show to the investor community that they still can produce profits, but it's fake, like the media news we detected in 21. So these are fake profits.
So these crooks at the banks are basically cooking the books by pushing their unrealized losses into the future.
It's correct, yeah. So so around 15 to 20% of unrealized losses are due to the interest rate rise, which happened in 22 and 23.
Right.
And so these this is more than the shareholder equity. Yeah? So actually, the
Wow.
shareholder equity in global banks is already gone, and now we face a second problem with commercial real estate, and this will have also impact to uh, private real estate, to residential real estate. This would be the next step in the next phase. Yeah. So
Well, some
yeah,
people may not know this, but you were previously director for Fitch Ratings company. Is that correct?
correct. I was in London director for Fitch Ratings. Yeah.
So it would seem that if you are aware of the HSBC holdings being exceeded by their losses, which have not yet been written down on their books, is it safe to say that Jerome Powell and the central banks are also aware of these bank losses, unrealized?
Of course, everybody in the industry knows that the unrealized losses on
Wow.
on bonds are higher than the equity. Yeah, so
Yeah. And,
everybody knows, but it's not nobody's talking about that issue.
and I think, yeah, I believe that now Country Garden and Shima Group over in China, two of the other largest real estate developers, are also being looking to be liquidated
Liquidity.
by
Yeah,
their bondholders. And as we discussed even a couple years ago, HSBC and many of the other biggest banks and smaller banks, even as well around the world, are bondholders and hold commercial paper in these Chinese real estate developers. So, what do you think about the people that are saying the contagion in the Chinese real estate market won't affect the rest of the world to actually mean? How far do you believe that this could actually impact the financial markets outside of China, like Europe and Asia and America?
actually, we started in 21, and as you see, we have this similar problems now in the States and in Europe. So the real estate developer, they did not survive the interest hike. Yeah, so and this is it's just normal, that the normal consequence of that. Yeah, and now we are seeing bankruptcies there, and it has consequences on now on the banking sector and on the insurance sector. Yeah,
Yeah.
and but the Fed is printing money out of thin air, insane, and this will lead to the hyperinflation. I'm telling you, since 21, we are
Mm-hmm.
on a highway to hyperinflation hell. Yeah, and this is the reason why you should buy tangible assets and invest in gold, and also grow your own food. Yeah.
Speaking of gold, actually, I wanted to ask you about your gold-backed coin. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, after 2 years of development, we did last week a soft launch of Sirius. So Sirius.money is the domain. We have 5 security tokens, and there are 3 different types of tokens, but all security tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one gold token, which is backed by certificates, Swiss certificate, which invests into gold, and this gold is held physically in Switzerland. The same with silver. The third
Awesome.
token is based on future gold access to gold mines, and the other 2 remaining tokens are kind of uh, stable coins, but as a security. You know that the SEC is categorizing most of the famous stable coins now as securities. We anticipated this development. We already offering a security token, and we are paying a coupon on our coins. So yeah, in a high yield environment, you have to pay a coupon, and you can pay a coupon because it's a security.
So, unlike other stable coins, for example, Tether and such that are backed by basically this toilet paper fiat dollar, you're saying that your coins are backed by silver and gold. Is that correct?
Indirectly, they are covered by silver and gold, but they are paying a coupon. Yeah, and you
Awesome.
can
Mm-hmm.
you can deliver the if you redeem the tokens, you can get gold or silver as a redemption.
So people can buy it, hold it, and wait for the price to go up further, and then redeem it for
Yes.
physical delivery of their silver and gold in the future.
Correct. But
Awesome.
if you do not want to invest in stable coins, you can invest in our gold coins, which
Hmm.
are backed by physical gold, and we apply a leverage
Awesome.
of 1.5. Yeah, so uh, because there are a lot of gold tokens out there, but if you really believe that the gold will perform, there will be a short squeeze in gold, yeah, and then with our tokens you have a 1.5 leverage. Yeah,
Oh, that's great. So it's leveraged as well.
yeah.
That's great to hear. I just had it up
Hmm.
on the screen there for people to check it out. Sirius.money.
Correct.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Is this
But
for people? Can people in the United States buy this as well? What about Europe, Asia?
so, unfortunately, people in the States cannot buy them right now. But we are in talks with a strategic investor who wants to pay us the Regulation D SEC launch with our tokens. So maybe in 3 to 6 months, we will have also the tokens available in the US.
Fantastic. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So people can buy them currently in Europe and such, and in the future, the next, in the coming months, they'll be able to buy it in America as well. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Speaking about the bonds that you were just mentioning, I noticed that the reverse repurchase program here in the United States has been rapidly declining. Basically, it was at over $2.55 trillion about a year ago. And over the course of the last year, the United States Treasury has been using the excess funds that belong to money market accounts in the RRP, the reverse repo program, to purchase some of the United States Treasury bills and so on. This is down now to only around $400 billion from that $2.5 trillion mark. What do you think would happen to the the T bills, the Treasury bills and bonds issued by the U.S. Treasury when the reverse repurchase program is completely drained of that excess liquidity used to buy those bonds?
So it's all about liquidity, and as you know, China is redeeming a lot of government bonds, U.S. government bonds, and buying gold, physical gold,
Yeah.
as much as they can. They are doing it now for 1.5 years, and so they they know what's going on, and benefiting from the artificial low gold price. So the gold price is sold naked short, yeah, by the central banks, and China and Russia are benefiting from it and redeeming worthless U.S. paper against highly precious gold. Yeah, so
You mean this stuff right here?
yeah, correct.
They're redeeming this toilet paper, their
Yeah,
bonds,
yeah.
and exchanging it for
It
actual metal, precious metals.
for actual metal, for real goods.
And for the people that don't understand or that have watched me say it in the past, without my influence, why do you, let me ask you, why would you think that the gold and silver prices are being artificially suppressed and naked shorted?
So there are some reports, but every kilo of gold is sold 500 times. Okay, but only one can hold it out of 500. Okay, so can you imagine what will happen when the dollar is questioned, or when the T-bill market has no proper liquidity, and everybody is looking for the gold, but it's only paper gold available, but and people recognize that is an issue, and
Mm-hmm.
only when you hold the gold, you own it, yeah. So
Yep.
this will be then a a short squeeze. Yeah,
So
a huge short squeeze.
so the Chinese and other governments around the world are selling off their treasury bills and redeeming it for precious metals. I think we've had about 6 days in a row where the gold price in China has been at new all-time highs consecutively now, if I recall. And the reverse repurchase program is being drained of this fake money, basically this money backed by nothing. So if the other governments around the world are selling their treasuries and the reverse repurchase program does not have sufficient liquidity to purchase more United States treasuries, is it safe to say that the bond market and the issuances by the Treasury will go no bid?
Yeah, I think it will go like in Japan. Yeah, so if the Japan central bank is holding more than half of the treasuries of their own treasuries. Yeah, so
Yeah, you're right. I think they're
so
holding somewhere around 2/3 of all of
yeah,
their own
so
treasuries.
so the Fed could buy their own treasuries.
So what does that do for J-POW and their concept of winding down the balance sheet for the Federal Reserve? Do you think that's an impossibility, or do you think that's something they could actually?
It's impossible. They went for the hyperinflation route
Mm-hmm.
in when the Ukraine crisis started. They did not let the market crash. You know? And since then, hyperinflation is inevitable. So the only way out for the Fed is to hyperinflate everything. The same for European Central Bank and for Japan. So it's for yeah, it's inevitable. Yeah,
Basically, they have to kill the spending power of the 99% in order to maintain the Ponzi scheme that is the
yeah,
fiat dollar.
correct. But the hyperinflation has consequences for the society. Yeah, so it will be very difficult. And in the next phases of a global financial meltdown, you could see riots and so you even
Chaos.
see chaos, civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, Not in the US first, but you will see it in other countries first, but could also reach the US at some point. Yeah.
I think we're at a tipping point around the world right now where that's already begun, like you said. Look at places like France and other parts of Europe and even Asia and Africa, where there's incredible amounts of chaos and riots, even civil war breaking out between the elites and farmers, the 99%, people who have had enough of the hyperinflation and this invisible tax on the people that is decreasing their spending power, and they're trying to take away people's rights even greater, in even greater fashion. So I think you make a great point, and because of that, I think it's very important that people own something that has the actual opportunity to increase in value, like the precious metals, like you mentioned, silver and gold and so on, right?
So it is a kind of a financial matrix, and when the matrix is breaking down, you need to own something which is outside the current financial matrix, and this is precious metals and other tangible assets. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
also food,
mhm.
and also food. Yeah,
And food, of course, it's really important
yeah,
because we all know the cost of food is not going down, right? So it's also a tangible asset if you have food with a long shelf life, frozen foods, canned foods, dried foods, and so on, and even self-sustainability. Do you think that the World Economic Forum is trying to discourage people from self-sustainability in order to maintain, so that they maintain a dependency on central governments?
So I think yes, the people should they are promoting a status where everybody is dependent on central government, also on the monetary system, yeah, with e-money controlled by central banks. So yeah, that's their dark agenda. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you see the truth, yeah,
What do you
then you
think?
can protect yourself, prepare yourself. Uh, it might take some time, or it will not come tomorrow, or but in the long run, or in the midterm already, we are right. And as you see, I have proven right with Evergrande after 2 years. It took quite a time, yeah. I did some other predictions about the breakdown of banks because of the high interest rate hike. Yeah, and I did a post before Silicon Valley Bank went bankrupt. It was in January or February 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I warned about that, and then it happened. Yeah. So you can see or I can see the developments, and I can combine with them, and I can predict the outcomes. Yeah. So yeah. So
Much like,
hyperinflation is that will be the outcome, but nobody has told this to the people so far and so directly.
and I think that's
And
what scares people when they hear
yeah. But
people like
there's
us
also
say that.
another consequence of hyperinflation being an outcome. The equity markets will still perform. Yeah. So yeah, but the bond markets they crashed. Yeah. And you now see that the Bitcoin is performing. Yeah. But the Bitcoin is not backed is backed by nothing. Yeah. So my recommendation is switch the Bitcoins into tangible assets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good choice. Yeah.
And I think I love the fact that you're actually coming up with solutions. You realized several years back that we're having some incredible issues with the fiat currency, that it's a Ponzi scheme, that it is going to lead to hyperinflation, and you came out and have worked for years now on this token, this security that is actually backed by gold and silver, which pays a coupon note percentage to people that are holding it, and also gives people the ability in the future to redeem it for the physical security itself, right?
Yeah.
So
This
I
is very
applaud you for that.
important.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. This
Absolutely.
is very important because access to gold will be limited soon. Yeah. So we will see a prohibition of selling and buying gold in the US and in Europe. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's very important that you can still buy and sell gold via the tokens which are held in other countries like Switzerland, Liechtenstein, or Dubai.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize this, but less than 1% of people around the world actually own any precious metals, which is really, I think it's telling as to how much confidence people put in this toilet paper. You know, too many people have been just living their lives around this toilet paper and having confidence in it for so long that 99% of people own zero precious metals. And I think that's part of what we discussed in the past in what we said. We're not wrong. We're just early. We were early, like you were early, and we were early with Evergrande, AMC, GameStop, banks, hyperinflation, the bond market, and so on and so forth. And so I think it's really important that people truly try to think a little bit more long term and try to make sure that they're properly hedged. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Dr. Metzler. Is there anything else you'd
So
like to add?
one last remark. So we could end up in the last phase of the global financial meltdown if there is an external shock. Yeah.
Yeah.
An external
Yeah.
shock could be
You mean a black
that
swan?
China is invading Taiwan, or I don't know, a natural event, earthquake, or I don't know, the bigger natural event which break down the world economy. So yeah, but this final phase can happen tomorrow, uh, but it will happen uh, in our decade. Yeah, it will happen uh, very soon. So because we are already in the fourth phase, and yeah, be aware,
Hmm.
take action, and yeah, see the truth.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're properly hedged. Financial runs are inevitable. Fiscal crisis is inevitable. And a black swan is imminent. Thank you again, Dr. Metzler. I really appreciate you joining us. Looking forward to being able to purchase Sirius Coin here in the United States. I know people in Europe can already get it. And aside from actually having it already delivered, I think it would be a great way to invest and actually receive a percentage on my holdings, as well as being able to receive physical delivery. So thanks again for coming up with real world solutions to actual problems that we're facing. I applaud you for that. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Metzler.
very much.